Hey everyone, and welcome to The Squad. This is the Park Squad Pod, a podcast where four friends catch up and chat about all things Disney, day-to-day life, and more. My name is Tommy, and I'll be your host for today's episode. I'm here with the rest of the squad.
I'm Haley.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Heidi.
Welcome to episode 10. Big episode today. We're doing Q&A for the squad. So we have sourced some questions from all the squad members out there on the internet. And when I say we, I mean primarily Brandon and Heidi. But no, we're really excited. We got some great questions today. So we're kind of just going to go through and see where those questions take us. But really excited. And thank you to everyone who submitted a question. Hopefully your question gets read today. But if it doesn't, we'll be doing these Q&A segments. If not in like another standalone episode as a segment, but all the questions will be read and answered at some point. So if you don't hear yours today, no worries. We will get to it.
Yes.
All right. First question. Tell us the story of how the squad came to be.
What a loaded question.
I know that's a long. It's a big answer, so we had to put it
class,
first. I feel like
it's good. I feel like also first off, like I think this is awesome how we're at 10 episodes. I love this. I think this is like so fun, and I just think I guess like the squad in general, right, is kind of this question of how
we all met.
This all friendship started and why we're here, I guess. So I guess it was we kind of said this on our first ever episode, but it was like the pandemic dark times of when you were on the internet and you were watching stuff and doing stuff, and we like obviously took that upon ourselves to that we then started our YouTube channel over here and made videos, and so did you guys, and then we kind of through the YouTube algorithm found you guys out there.
Yeah, so I like had never watched any YouTube pre-pandemic like at all, unless it was like a viral video. But so I started watching it because my workload decreased a lot during COVID. And so we found, like, obviously I was watching like Tim Tracker and all like the big ones. And then we found the Leffersons, Alyssa and Garrett. And so we really liked them. And then on one of theirs, I don't know if they did like a birthday shout out or like something to you guys, but they like mentioned you. And then, so I was like, well, if I like them, then I'll probably like these people. And so then I went and found your guys' channel, and it was like the beginnings of like you guys like dating and like together. And like, though I think you maybe had like one Disney trip video out.
Yeah.
But then it was like kind of just like your being. And so I think we subscribed to you and then followed you on Instagram. And then I think maybe like on Instagram, because it was like the beginning of everything, was when we were like kind of like, hey, if you like thanks for like the follow, but like go and watch us. And I was like, I already watch you.
and then I was like, I'm gonna go watch, because I always love like watching new people, because it's like you watch all your like regular people, but then there's always like new people. And you guys had said our channel name, and I was like, oh, they also watch us, obviously, because they had messaged us and like and stuff, and it was so cool. And I went to Heidi and I said, these guys like mentioned our name. How cool is that? And it's like yeah, super awesome. And then I think that we just kind of started becoming like slowly friends from there. Like I don't like know exactly if there was like a turning point. It was kind of just organically.
Yeah, I think we were just like DMing back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I think like, I don't know when, but like one time, because at that time we were still living like at my dad's house, because like we planned to just do that for a year and then move. And then the pandemic happened. And we like FaceTimed with you guys like from that house, I think, like in the very beginning, because like I don't know,
everyone was in their Zoom call era.
Yeah, exactly.
We're hot in the streets.
Like Zoom happy hours or whatever.
Exactly.
And so then from there we like, I feel like we like found ourselves like in the same like little Disney community. Like there were definitely like niche like little pocket
dimension.
Yeah. And it's also like I think when you connect with like certain people, you just like instantly know like, okay, like this is just like a connection that you just like, you feel like you've known people forever. I feel like that was kind of like what we had. And then we like had our trip together that we met for the first time, which was crazy.
And it didn't feel like we were meeting for the first time on the trip. Like it felt like we had been like together forever.
Reunited. Yeah.
Seriously. And it was like holiday season. It was like all those things. It was like so fun to do that. And then like looking back at those kind of vlogs and pictures, it's like so fun
It's so sweet.
to see how that kind of came to be. And it's like our pictures and our fun moments.
And it's hilarious because now I feel like we pretty much every time just like vacation together. It's
Like the only time we've ever met each other in person is like when we're vacationing together.
Yeah, which is like hilarious. It's just like the go-to thing now.
Yeah, like, and then it's just, I think that we've then just kind of grown our friendship through like other things like this, or just like a chat online, or like on Zoom, like
the group chat.
Yeah, group chat, like live streams. I think that we've done a lot of things like together, the four of us, which is so cool. Like it's just, and it's one of those things where like we don't obviously live anywhere close to each other. We're in 2 different countries, but like we have like a really good, strong, I think, connection and friendship, which is really unique and cool.
Yeah. And I think that like we've started making an effort because like the weekly recordings now, like of this, is so nice because it felt like sometimes, because like obviously everybody gets busy, but like we have like a standing like friend date now. Like once a week we get to kind of catch up and talk and hang out and record this, which is the best.
Yeah, I was gonna say the kind of internet friendship roots of our friendship has like really done a lot to, I don't know, like you said, like everyone gets busy, but kind of having stuff that we do together on the internet, because that's how we met, like really has given us a reason to, you know, continuously be connected. And, you know, like it obviously happens with everyone, like friendships drift and you kind of drift apart and you all have different things going on in your lives, especially, you know, we've never lived closer than, I don't know, like 8 hours apart from each other. So it's not like we can kind of just pop over and say hi, but yeah, the fact that we are always kind of constantly doing stuff together online when we're not on vacation together has really, you know, been a fun thing. Where I think for a lot of people, maybe if you're doing a weekly podcast with your friends, you know, it gets kind of tiresome. But for us, at least I feel like it's just, you know, we get to talk to our friends for an hour every week, and it's, you know, the best hour of the entire week. So.
Yeah. And we like the birth of this podcast was like, we obviously like spending time, the four of us.
Yeah.
And like we think what they have to say is interesting, and like they think what we have to say is interesting. So we thought that everyone would like to hear what we say. But also like we do a lot of the lives on Brandon and Heidi's channel, and we like found ourselves just staying on and talking. Like a lot of it was Disney related, some of it wasn't. And so then that's kind of where like the idea of this birthed from is like people might want to see like what goes on behind the curtain, like what our conversations are like when it's not like a specific game or a bracket or something, like kind of more free form.
Yeah. Like, and I also think that like within our friendship, we always have done things that we say that we'll do. It's like, we said that we're going to do that trip like at Christmas. We've said that we're going to go do like our D23 thing, which we'll touch on later. But like, we say that we'll do stuff and we always do it. And I think it's always like some big thing, like you said, like a vacation, but like, even then it's like, we do these things where it's like it's an effort is made to like, whether it's do like a call or go do a trip. It's like very cool and fun.
Yeah. And I think it kind of holds like some accountability. Yeah. Like when it's easy to say, like if Tommy and I said we were going to start a podcast, it's easy to never get around to do it because nobody else's interests are like laying at like your hands, where like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but like, I think we got this up and running way quicker than we would have if we just wanted to do it independently. And the same thing, like we kind of joked about D23, like the last time D23 happened, like, one time we've definitely got to make it happen. And then it was coming and it's like the ultimate fan event now. And we were like, okay, well, let's do it. And then next thing we know, we hopped on a call and everything was booked and we're committed to it.
Love it.
Crazy.
Awesome. So yeah, a little squad history lesson for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully you were taking notes.
There will be a quiz at the end.
Yes, there will be a pop quiz at the end. All right. On to the next question, mixing it up a little bit. What is everyone's go-to magic band in a hurry?
This was one of my favorite questions that we got.
Great question. Yeah, it's a great question.
I would have never thought to ask it, and I love this question. And I knew my answer immediately when I read it.
Me too.
I got it's a purple magic band that has all of the like Disney World food. So it has a Dole Whip, it has the popcorn, it has like the Mickey pretzel. And it's just the one, like if I'm going up for a day, it's the one that I throw on. It's the one that's always in my, like, I have like a go bag, like a Disney, when we lived close. It was like, it's like, I don't know, like when people have like a hospital bag when they're like pregnant, but I like had it like ready to go. It had all the things I needed in it. And that's the magic band I always had in it.
Love it. That's a good one. What about you? You got yours?
Yeah, I got
Easy?
mine.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
this is my favorite Magic Band by far. It's not one of like the new ones, but it's one of it might have been my first like fancy one that I got. I don't know, but it's the Frozen 2 one
Yeah,
that I
it's a
got.
good
It's a
one.
limited edition one that came out when Frozen 2 came out. And we like watched Frozen 2 at Disney Springs, and it's my favorite Disney movie. And then it's like this light blue. It's got like multiple characters on it. It's got like the leaves. It just is like so pretty. So that's my go-to one. Love that one.
We also have quite a bit. I feel like not as many as maybe you guys have, but we really do love Magic Bands. And I think that they're like a really fun accessory at the parks. Mine is the one that I got for my program last year. That's like that old school Mickey and Friends. It's like a pinky purple like Magic Band Plus with the castle in the middle, and it has like all of those Mickey and Friends characters around the sides. And on the inside, I got it like engraved, like I think CEP 2023. And I just like love that one. I think it's my one that if I had to go to any park, it fits because it's just like Mickey and Friends. So I feel like that's why that it's my like go-to one. Is I would just wear it more so because it is like kind of fits everywhere. And I do love that it's a Magic Band Plus. I really love that kind of feature, and I think that's a really nice Magic Band.
Nice.
Yeah, Magic Bands have a stranglehold on me for sure. They're like the only accessorizing I do in, you know, my real world life, as well as sort of when we're going to the parks. So, you know, always try and keep them sort of park specific, and, you know, work the whole outfit around them. And so I don't typically tend to revisit the one a lot, but the one I actually did find myself using quite often is the most recent one that I've purchased, and it's also a Magic Band Plus. It's the 100 Years of Magic sort of stylized one. So it's a nice kind of gray, and then they all have their tuxedos on. All of the characters have their tuxedos on the one side, and just sort of the sort of inclusivity of all of the different characters, as well as the sort of more neutral color palette, is one where I think if I had to just throw one on, it would probably be that one. But like I said, usually not a split decision. This is one of the ones where I'm thinking ahead, laying it out on my bed ahead of time as we sort of establish our schedule.
Yeah, they have like a deep hold on our household.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I love those things. They're the best. So
they're
Keep 'em cool
good.
and busy.
Yeah, like I feel like it's like an underrated souvenir thing because you can really, like you said, accessorize with like a specific outfit. Tommy, I think is a good point. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And I think like if you're staying on property, it's like almost like a must because you can link
They're great.
everything you need to it.
Yeah.
And I just like them aesthetically. When you factor in you added utility,
Yeah.
they're the best. All right, good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube or whatever, give us your favorite Magic Band as well.
Yes.
I love hearing about Magic Bands. So, all right,
He'll go and buy whatever one you suggest.
Yeah, give good recommendations. Yeah, for sure. Next question: what is the favorite experience at Disney that we've all that we've all had together? I got choked up there.
Tommy's okay. He's still here.
Yeah.
This is a really loaded question also, and I think you could go with so many things and so many things that are small that we can just like laugh at, or things that maybe like obviously like the big core memories. So I took like a core memory and then a kind of smaller funny thing.
Okay,
But do
I'm
you
doing
have
the
any?
same thing.
Okay, so you go ahead. You go
No,
first.
you go first.
No, it's okay. Honestly, because I feel like that hopefully yours isn't the same, and then I can change it if it is.
Okay. So my very specific niche, I don't know why this like plays in my head like all the time. I don't know if we were like a bit like tired and warm. We were at Disney, but it was when we were like sitting, this very specific occasion was when we were sitting outside that like chestnuts roasting by an open fire, eating those like delicious nuts, and they were so good. And we were just like sitting on the curb there in Epcot, and it smelled so good, and we were all just like sharing these nuts, and it was just like so yummy. But everyone was just like laughing so hard. I don't even remember about what, but like
I think we were just like people watching, like we were just like eating like, and I think that we were laughing because we were eating roasted nuts at Epcot, and we just thought it was like the funniest thing we've ever done.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, you also said that we were eating some kind of nut and it wasn't the one that we were eating. And then you said, no, Haley and Tommy have those. And I said, no, they also don't have those. They have something else and we have a different one. And you're like, whatever, it smells so good here. They're roasted nuts. Like, it's just good. Come here, get those.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
So I love like that one moment because I feel like it was just very us. Like, I don't know, as a group.
Good
and then
one.
I'll share my other one quickly. Also, Christmas Day when we all were at Magic Kingdom, like we all ended up at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
that's just so
That's a good
special.
one.
I feel like because like Christmas Day, like I feel like it's such a big day, like in general,
Yeah.
at least for me personally.
No, I
Like,
agree.
and it's just so incredible that like we got to spend Christmas Day together. Like that's crazy. Like who can say that you spent Christmas Day with your friends, and then on top of that, like our first time
And
at Disney World.
yeah.
Like that's the only time I've been away from my house for Christmas.
Yeah,
And it was
That's a
like
good
all
one.
together. So that was really special.
I love it.
That one's such a good one.
It is a good one. I feel like I had that one on my list, and I was trying to think if anybody would take it. So I had some other ones, but my like smaller niche one, and this one is so funny to me, but I literally every time that I think of any like time or memory, there's two of them, and they're both ice cream related. The first one is when Haley and Heidi like got their cone in Magic Kingdom, and I think that we had talked about like how people are so kind of like not on the like a side of that they share food with their friends. They like don't want to share, and they had got two separate cones, and then one of them said like switch, and then they just like licked each other's ice cream, and it was like the epitome of what people would not want that we just talked about.
And it's at Disney World too, which I feel like
And I
That's
also
what
love,
I stumbled upon that picture yesterday.
you
I was like
sent
looking
it.
for pictures to send you guys of like Lilo and Stitch,
yeah,
and that one came across where we have linked arms, like when you do like a wedding cake.
love it. And then my other one is the first time ever that I had scoops, and it was like, I don't know if it was hot also, and we had like that like candy cane milkshake, and I was like, cheers, and we're drinking our ice cream, and it's like the lightest, like I'm pretty sure that I drank, there was nothing came out, but we just like raved about these, and we've gotten them like I think like a few times that we've all went together.
Well, and I think wasn't it like you and Haley were like, yeah, we're getting these milkshakes, we're like whatever.
Sounds like us.
Yeah.
Then, you got them. So funny.
My other two main ones, and I'm probably like I guess I'm like,
We'll just talk about
stealing everybody.
Yeah, we won't have any.
Yeah.
Let them go, and then you can say yours.
Yeah, you guys go to yours, and then I'll say one after. Go ahead.
Okay, I have mine.
Yeah.
So I also have kind of like two. So the one is like a reoccurring. It's not like one memory, but it's something that is like I feel like a cornerstone of our friendship now, and it's our parade spot where the four of us sit and watch the Festival of Fantasy, like in the same spot. Like Tommy always goes and gets an ice cream. Brandon has his refill of his popcorn, or else or Heidi will give him a hard time about the popcorn bucket. But like the four of us, because it fits like the four of us perfectly, and it's like just us like doing what we love to do best with like the people that we love to be with. And so that time, every single time we sit there, it like really like gets to me. Like if I like sit back, like it feels like something that you could like look at from the outside and just be like the happiest person, like if you could watch yourself.
So
and then the other one that I have is when the four of us went on like the family coaster on Typhoon Lagoon and just about popped out the top of it because we had no business having the four of us, and like we like barely fit. So when you're like going up the thing, they like tell you to keep your arms in, but I had nowhere to put my arms, so like it was out, and then I didn't even know she was yelling at me, and then the three of them are like, Haley, she's talking to you. And so we go up and we were just so close to the side, and that's the one that like just lives forever.
Yeah, that touched on mine a little bit. Mine is just the entire day at Typhoon Lagoon. I think it was such a change of pace from what we usually do at the Disney parks, where obviously Typhoon Lagoon wasn't like empty. Obviously there was still a ton of people there, but for some reason it kind of felt like we had our kind of like run of the water park. And I don't know if it was just sort of doing something different, but yeah, we were like swimming in the wave pool and riding the family like slide and stuff like that, and getting chairs and laying out in the sand, and just kind of that change of pace. It, obviously it was still crowded, but it felt like we kind of found our own little pocket in Walt Disney World and kind of just ran the water park for the day, lazy river, stuff like that. And that was just so fun and such a nice change of pace to what we usually do. It just it really sticks out kind of in my mind.
Yeah, and sharing the refillable cup.
Yeah.
We each take one big sip and it's gone.
We gotta share everything.
We're like, this is worth our money.
Yeah. Mine were gonna be like, obviously, like how can you not bring up like the first time that we met, obviously.
Yeah.
But my like main big one was when we had that night with Alyssa and Garrett, and then you guys did our like the little sleepover at Pop Century.
Yeah.
It was so fun, and it was like we didn't plan that. It was just like, oh, do you want to stay? And it's like, yeah, we'll stay. And that was just like so fun that it was like we got to do like a little sleepover there. I thought was awesome. And I just want to add my other one, which is including me, Haley, and Tommy, was when I needed someone on my last program when I kind of felt like lonely at first.
That was
They were like, we'll just come up. And I was like, well, no, this is going to be some big thing for no reason. Like, I'm not trying to make it a big deal. Like, and they were like, no, it's okay, we'll come. And that just honestly really, I think, made my program way better for myself because I felt like way
Not
better.
alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah, that
These
was
make me legitimately emotional. There are tears in my eyes.
And again, it was one of those where like I missed Heidi so much, and I'm like, I just feel kind of alone. And then like when I reach out to them, they just in a minute were like, it's okay, like we'll come, and we'll also come the weekend after. And I was like, well, no, like this is not me trying to be a baby and try to have you come. And they just like dropped everything for 2 weekends to come be there for me, and I just really appreciate that. And we did so many like things, like me and Tommy had like a guys' night, which was so fun.
Fellas
Like, awesome. Like I just think that whole memory stands out to me because when I needed someone, they were there for me, and that's like friendship to a T.
God, laying it on thick, Brandon.
I'm sorry.
I did a little bit of a cry break, and then we
I'm sorry.
Q&A.
Help it.
But I wanted to mention it because it was true.
No,
like
for
and
sure.
I had said to Heidi that like they're gonna come be there for me, and it was like
It was awesome.
It's
and
awesome.
It felt good, and it was like amazing, and to know that like that you were there because you were having like such a
I
hard
was having
time.
a really hard time,
and you're like, I don't know if I can do this, and so to have like
Mhm.
kind of like family there like within you guys was like super special.
You can't handle it.
But no, but honestly, I love our friendship too because I feel like we're like that and everything we talked about is like how kind of like go with the flow and like spontaneous and like we're almost just like every single time we're together we're always like yes, like doesn't matter like what anyone says, like it's like yes, I'm down to do that, and it's like we just do it and kind of like hype each other up, which is I feel like why our trips and our time together is like so fun too. Because,
and like I also feel like because sometimes like Brandon and I don't like to do like what like Heidi and Tommy like to do, and so even though it's like a yes, it's never like a like I don't know, like we can go our separate ways, like, and it's not even like couple and couple. Like sometimes it's like the boys will go and then the girls will do something, or like 2 and 2. And so like everybody gets to do what they want to do, but then also do it together. And that's what like when I was thinking about some of these questions, I think like all of my favorite memories of Disney are when the 4 of us are there. Like those are like all of my core memories are when it's like us 4 in the parks.
Yeah,
I'll get myself together
All
now.
right, yeah. I'm going to take a
something
while
more lighthearted,
reading
please.
this next question so that we can compose ourselves. Number 4 is an easy one. Are you all annual pass holders?
No.
We are. Yeah, none of us are. I guess short answer,
Anymore.
no. Yeah, we can go into a little bit of a longer. Brandon, Heidi, have you ever considered being annual pass holders? Obviously, it's a little tricky being from a different country, not within driving distance. You know, it's more of an ordeal to get to the parks. But is it ever something that's kind of crossed your mind?
So
I think it
the
did.
one time it did.
Yeah, when we went there for Christmas with you guys, we then looked at how much would tickets be?
Because
I think we were there for a while.
for like 10 days or whatever.
and stuff,
So
and
it
was
comes
like,
on that cusp of like, well,
but then
can
the reason
justify.
that we didn't, I think, was because then we looked at like if we're gonna go, we have to go again next year if it's gonna be worth it. And then it was our trip going with like our friend who's Club 33. So then we're like, we're not gonna need to do that for us. But we heavily did consider it. It was like I think that I don't even know if they had them on sale like at that time, or they hadn't brought them back, or they.
I think it was before they took them away.
Before they took them away, maybe. But we heavily considered like, is this worth it for us to do? Yeah.
Now, recently we haven't because like Brandon's been like a cast member and I've only been going on trips, so like it doesn't make sense. I don't know if we ever will be, to be honest. Like it's hard to say.
I could see a point in our lives where we would like be potentially like even if it's like one time to try it out to see if it works like for us and how often we could go. But I think like obviously being from Canada, like having to fly there is not like easy, and it's a kind of a whole ordeal. So I think maybe it could happen, but we've only like really considered it heavily that one time.
Yeah.
But you guys.
Yeah, we were annual pass members and
2 years.
So yeah, we weren't before because it just like never really even crossed our minds when we first started going to Disney. I don't think I even ever thought about it.
And we only did one trip where the number of days approached a point where the purchase would be worth it.
And we didn't
Usually
even plan to be there that
and
many
that was
days.
spontaneous. Yeah, that was spontaneous.
But I loved being an annual pass member. And I think that us living in Florida definitely benefits. And then also for many of our trips, my mom has like a timeshare at the Hilton.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to thankfully pay for lodging all the time.
Yeah.
And so, cause sometimes I feel like you can get kind of like a bundle deal with tickets and lodging. And now that the dining plan is back, that you can't really get if you're an annual pass member because you're not lumping tickets into it.
Yeah.
But being like local and being able to drive, I feel like was, I mean, because I actually like came across the document. I pulled up like how much we would have to use our annual pass, like including, I didn't include discounts, but including parking and then days in the park, like how many times we would actually have to go to like make our money back. We made like, I don't know, we made it back within the first month and a half or 2 months. We
Love it.
made
Oh, wow,
our
yeah.
money's worth of going.
Amazing.
From a park admission standpoint, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, and this is kind of going off topic from the original question of are you a pass holder, but I do think it is something that if it works for your schedule, it's absolutely worth it. Like I think where we were
And financially.
yeah, exactly. Where we were kind of located both geographically and kind of in our lives and sort of what we were looking to do, it couldn't have been better. You know, it allowed us the flexibility to kind of go up whenever and not have to worry about, you know, an added expense, you know, outside of the sort of regularly recurring
expenses that we gave ourselves.
direct deposits for the installments of the
Well, that's what
annual pass. But
Florida residents, the only benefit for annual pass, it's not cheaper.
for the Incredipass specifically.
Yes. It's not a cheaper pass, but you get to pay in monthly installments.
Mhm.
So whereas like you might not have $1,500 laying around, you can spend like $110 per month, and it like you can make that budget work better. And I think that if we had that choice, even now, I think it would have been hard to get rid of the annual pass for us if
Mhm.
we could pay it in installments instead of paying it as a lump sum.
For sure.
Like I would love the freedom to go down. Like Brandon's going on his program, and I really am planning on going down. And if I had an annual pass, it wouldn't even be a question because
Right.
it's not an added expense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's tricky too. Like we obviously would look to go around the holidays and things like that, which are blacked out from some of the lower tiers. But if that's
Yeah.
not something you're interested in, you can get an annual pass on one of those lower tiers at
Way cheaper.
at pretty significant savings.
For sure.
You just kind of have to adjust your schedule around those holidays. But if you're someone who would be doing something else on those high volume days, like for example, if you'd be spending, you know, the Christmas or winter holidays at home, and just kind of looking to sprinkle in
And
a
you take a
Disney
week,
trip,
yeah.
in sort of the quieter seasons, then you can get that lower tier, and it makes a ton of sense from a value perspective. But yeah, I think kind of depending on what you're looking to get out of it, I think you can easily get your money's worth. But it is one of those things where you kind of have to have one big long trip planned, or be
Mhm.
local, or have, you know, two
Multiple
smaller
trips
trips
planned.
planned in order to really get to it. Because that's, you know, you definitely don't want to be paying for admission that you're not using. But
Yeah. So for the short answer, no,
we're not. But
we're not.
but I would say I generally recommend it.
Yeah,
though. I don't
I
think
agree.
it's a big price point, especially that Incredipass. But I think if you kind of break it down, you can find value there.
Love it.
All right. Next question. How did you meet your significant other?
Do you want
Nice.
to take it away? Do you think that you have a good handle on
Do
the
I have
story, or is mine better than
I
your
feel like
story?
you can tell the story.
So okay,
It's a long story, but it's also there's a
We'll
short
be quick.
answer.
We'll be quick. So the short answer is at work at our school that we used to go to, but the
Yeah.
longer answer is we actually met like before that. Actually, like seeing each other in the flesh is considered meeting. So we met each other at like this event that like your friend, my coworker, had at your house, and I met you there for the first time, and we had never known each other. We probably like barely spoke there.
Yeah, no.
And then I remember that I looked you up on Instagram, and your picture was Rapunzel and Pascal, and I
Which
was
is
like,
crazy.
and I was like, okay,
Actually.
hold on a minute here. This
I don't know
this
why
is
it was.
weird.
People.
Yeah. So then it was a follow, and then I had worked at a summer camp at our university, and I was one of the lead people there, and I was like the camp coordinator person. So when we were doing hiring, I was in there with like the actual like adult boss who ran the place, but I was in there with him, and we had to kind of like obviously rank every person who we would hire. And he had the ultimate say, but we kind of submitted who we thought would be great. And I had Heidi, like I think like maybe 2 or 3. He had you like a bit lower, and then when it came to hiring, you were like the first one just off of his list. And then I called everybody, and one person backed out, and he said to me, then you can just pick who you want the fourth to be because I trust your judgment, or like yeah. So then I called Heidi, And she said,
Because-
what did you say to me?
No, because I already got an email saying like you're not like in consideration for
Yeah.
the job. So then I was like, oh well, that's unfortunate because like I really wanted this job. But then I was like, okay, like I'll just do this other job that's like for the city that I already had lined up. So then I was like on the phone and I'm like, oh, like, well, like, is it okay if I let you know? Because like in my head, I already was like, no, I didn't get this job. I have a different job now. But
and
then
then you said, I think if I had to choose though, I'll pass on it. And I said,
Oh, I said
okay.
that?
Yeah. And then I said, like, okay. And then I said, but let me know, like, if you think about it today, like, just call back and and let me know today.
And then after I was like, I remember I said like, okay, actually, like I really wanted this job. So like, that's just silly. Like, I'll just take the job and I'll just like figure out the other stuff. So then I took the job. It was like the best. Well, first of all, like that job was,
The
so,
job was
fun.
so fun.
Like we worked with
camp
like,
counselor jobs, if anyone like out there
Yeah.
can relate, like, yeah, over there. Like,
and we
just out
like
there
had like
listening,
great friends working
it's
with
awesome.
us, and like the kids were great. Like it was, and like the facility was great. Like everything was awesome and so fun. And then
And
yeah,
then we hung out for the first time.
yeah.
And I had remember that I went to my family because I had like a family function, and my cousin said, "Oh, she's friend zoning you." She said, "This is like a friend hangout." He said, "That girl is not even in your tax bracket in terms of where you could achieve." And I said, "Okay, cool, man. Like, thanks a lot." So then going into it, I remember like we were playing games and our couch like out there was smaller, and I let Heidi sit on the couch and I sat on the floor because I said, I'm going to be kind and let her sit. And she thought I was.
I thought
now
I thought that I was
friend-zoning
getting
her.
friend zone. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like this is so weird, but like whatever.
And then we had like,
But then
like,
after
it was
that-
after that we
then
hung out like another time.
it
We were up
was-
all night
yeah.
chatting, and then that was it. It was like, wow, we're doing this thing.
It was
Yeah.
meant to be. Thank goodness for that guy who backed out of the job.
Seriously.
I know. Imagine that.
I'm like, thank goodness
Wow.
for them.
Everything
Crazy.
happens for a reason. yeah.
Honestly. And now look at you guys getting married.
Wow.
Woo!
Wild.
Crazy. What about
Yeah.
you guys?
So ours is kind of
It's
like
not entirely dissimilar. I don't
no,
think.
it's not. So we've known each other for a very long time. So like where we grew up, like neighborhood pools are really big. So there's like, and we both swam, like for the same competitive team growing up. But we didn't really know each other then. But so he grew up on like a one street neighborhood with two of my best friends. So my best friend lives across from him, and then my other best friend lives down the street, and they both have younger siblings who are his age.
Yep.
And so he is best friends with my best friend's little brother. So we kind of grew up like all growing up together. So like obviously I was with like my friends and he was with his, but like we were all kind of running together.
Mhm.
And then we both went to the same pool growing up. And then we became like we were friendly when I was in like a senior in high school because I was the swim coach at our pool. So I also swam for them. And so he was like my swimmer. But so like when I like needed things done, I was like, oh, well, like Tommy will do it. And so like when we needed like, I don't know, like posters for like the other little kids, like somebody wasn't going to make a poster. I was like, hey, like I need you and Alex, my friend's little brother, to like make these posters. And so we would like kind of chat, and like we would just like, we are 4 years apart, but like we would just like still be friends. Then I went off to school, and then like we were still like friendly from the pool. And then we like went to like get sushi one time, like obviously just as friends. Like I was in college, he was in high school, and then he would take like his little girlfriends to the place that like I introduced him to.
I cannot believe I'm getting exposed on the podcast right now.
The sushi place. So he would like bring his little girlfriends to the sushi place that I told him about. But like it was like I was like, yeah, like do it, of course, because like it was like so platonic.
Yeah,
was,
I mean we were just friends. Like it wasn't. Yeah, we were.
It was like never even a consideration.
we
of
had
anything
friend
else.
zoned each other successfully for a long
Well,
time.
appropriately, because I was an adult and you were like still a child at the time.
Yeah, I guess so.
But so like there was never even like an inkling of like, it was just like my friend's little brother, like just like he swam for me. And then we swam for the same like club swim team.
Yeah.
So I used to like drive him to practice in the morning, and my dad was his swim coach. And then I graduated from college, and so he was in college after his freshman year.
Yeah.
And I needed like employees at the pool that we grew up at, and so I was managing it. And so I saw him one time like at the YMCA, and I said to him, I said, "Do you have a job this summer?" He's like, "Nope." I said, "Do you want a job this summer?" And he said, "Yep." And so then he worked for me. And then that's the summer that we started dating. And then nearly 10 years later, we're married. And
Yeah. No, I mean, that summer we just spent a lot of time together, and then I was like getting ready to go back to school, and we kind of just had to open up and confess, what was going on, like how we felt about it, and what was going to happen. And
we were both willing to like try. And I said, like, obviously, like I had 4 years in college where I got to like be in college, like doing whatever. So like it's kind of in your court. Like you can make the choice of like, you want to go to college and just be like, not like obviously like tied down. He's like, no, I don't think so.
And here we are.
Yep. And then
Wow.
now we spend every waking moment together.
Yeah.
Love it. That's fun. I love hearing those kind of stories. It's so great.
I was gonna say the rest of the squad is gonna know us really well after
Seriously
this episode.
Oh yeah.
All right. Going from something that is nice to maybe something that could be a little bit controversial and get people a little upset with us, maybe we're gonna go with our most overrated ride in the Disney parks.
Yep.
I have one.
Yeah.
Go
You want to go first? Yeah. I don't know if anybody else. I need a
Yeah.
second, but I can have one ready.
I know mine, but I'm afraid to say it.
So I definitely think it's over. It's definitely. So I keep trying to think of like if I just don't like it or if I think it's overrated, but I do think it's overrated, and it's Spaceship Earth. I am like, and I know that there's like Spaceship Earth stands out there, but I like it as the park icon. I never want that to go away, but I could do without the ride of Spaceship Earth forever.
I would agree, Haley. I think it's very high up on my list, but the one that I have is a little bit higher. But I think like I like never have the urge like to do it, and then I did it on my last program, and I was good. I was like, I don't think that again like maybe if it was like a walk on, I would maybe do it, but I don't even know if I would for sure do it. And I feel like that is just not a good attraction. And I know that people like it and stuff at Epcot, but
baby.
And it's just like it's like hot. It gets stuck all the time. Like the storyline. Sorry, Buck has a lot to say. If you can hear him in the back there. It just like it doesn't give me anything. Like the picture doesn't work right. Like it either needs like a total revamp, or I don't know what.
No,
it needs something needs to be done.
Like, and when you go like down backwards, it is pretty scary that you're going
and it's just
down
nothingness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole back half of the ride is so boring.
Yeah, I would agree. You had yours pretty easily as well.
Yeah, I feel bad
Are
about
you
this
afraid
one.
to say it?
I'm afraid to say it because I know everyone here likes it, and I'm just thinking of like I tried to think about like which ride.
We like it, like
yeah,
you
guys,
Tommy.
yeah, you guys all like it. And I like this ride too, but I think that people like some people this is like their favorite ride, and like when I think about like what this ride is, like I like it, but like there's like when you think about it, there's not really much to it. So I'm just gonna say it, and everyone can be mad. So I'm gonna say that the People Mover is.
I
knew that's where you were going.
I guessed it earlier.
And yeah, I knew because I was like trying to like not tell Brandon, but then he was like, I was like, this is a ride that like everyone really likes, and like it's fun, it's good. If I never rode it again, I wouldn't be sad. And I feel like I said, like for some people, it's like they're like, oh, this ride's so amazing, like it's so fun, and like it's chill.
But it's a vibe play. I don't think it's a ride play. It's a vibe play.
But if the vibe doesn't work for you, I get being like, what are you people talking about? Like, just like
I think it's
slowly moving.
I think
train.
it's because you're like a ride, like adrenaline, like like I want to
You're
ride these rides and have a fun. Yeah. Whereas this is
and then I'm just sitting there and I'm like,
yeah.
And then they're like talking. I'm like,
you're like you'd rather be like doing something that's like moving quicker, or you're doing something.
Yeah.
So that for you is not which is fair.
Yeah.
Just thinking about all the time you're wasting riding around Tomorrowland.
Exactly.
Mine I think is maybe that on steroids, a little bit of wasteful time in my opinion. And this is offensive to so many people, because when I would talk about it on my program, people were like, you're just a hater. And mine's Living with the Land. I feel so bad saying it because people love Living with the Land. People love it so much. They love seeing that stuff. I think that it's cool to see what they kind of do. Obviously, any like behind the scenes thing. I think it is so long. I think that it's not like entertaining to hear anything. I look at stuff like sometimes and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I don't think that this is one. Like if I tomorrow, like someone said, you can never do Living with the Land again, I would say, okay, like I'm fully fine. And I know that people, again, if you love it, don't hate on me for it. But I just think that it's it's so like hype that people love it. It's like a whole big staple of Epcot. It's a big thing for Flower and Garden, like all these things, which is fine. It's just not for me. Like I think that it's the people mover for me, for you.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just, I'm sitting on a boat looking at plants when I could be walking around somewhere. I'd rather walk
Half
around.
of it, you're not even looking at plants, and that's the worst part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I like the part when you're sorry, Heidi, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I like the part when you're in like the greenhouse. Like
Yeah.
when you're like that little loop where you're going through and
it's
like
great.
there's like
It's cool.
an experience where you can eat out there.
Yeah.
I want to do that 100.
For sure.
Like that is like on my list. I want to do that. But the other parts, like I don't even like the animatronic like farm scene. I don't
Yeah.
care about the house.
The
And then
prairies.
there's one room where I tell Tommy every time, it makes me like
the beans or
mad.
whatever? Yeah.
Like it makes me angry. The room that it's just the screens to your left and then the big flat like wooden
Yes.
fridge and then just a bag of beans laying there. And you're in that room for like
For a while.
45 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
It is so horrible.
Yeah, I don't hate living with the land, but when people get on the internet and talk about how it's their favorite ride at Epcot and stuff like that, I'm convinced that everyone's just playing a joke on me, because it is so whatever. It's the most like inoffensive edutainment like farming propaganda ride ever, where like it's like an okay vibe. I think even like the People Mover I think is more fun because you're looking at the
People.
rest of
Yeah.
Tomorrowland and
I
the Magic
agree.
Kingdom and other people, where this one it's just, I don't know, like it's like fish farming and like plants and like hydroponics and stuff like that. I think it's totally fine. But yeah, every time someone gets on TikTok and is like doing their Epcot rides ranked, it always is Living with the Land #1, and I'm always just like, what? When did this joke happen, and why didn't I get laid?
Well,
on
it
the
feels
bit?
like
Yeah.
a hipster move, like
Yeah.
where like people they're like only real Disney fans like know Living with the Land, like, and it makes it feel like the people and like if you're people who like Living with the Land and genuinely like it, this is not about you. But it feels like one of those things where like it's almost like I'm better than you because like I like this and like you're not an original Disney fan. Like you like Remy's, I like
Right.
Living with the Land. Like that's what it like.
Yeah, I think, and again, like I just feel bad because like like people who I know, like my friend Lucy, like loves this, and she would talk to me that she's like, it's okay that we have horrendous like opposite sides, and your opinion sucks. We can still be friends, even though you have these horrible takes, which is great because everybody likes like what they like. I just don't see for me like the appeal of if I had to rank Epcot. Like Living with the Land is very low at the bottom. Of course, not worse than like the shows and stuff, like some of them, but it's not one of those.
But the
for me.
funny thing about Living with the Land is like if I could just walk through it, like I would actually really like it.
I would like
that.
It's
Agree.
just the
Agree
sitting
more.
there.
I
And if they
agree.
had like people standing there and you could like talk to them like
Agree.
about like what's going on in there, then like that would be like more educational and more fun and like
Yep.
better to do like at your own pace and like within your own interests. But when you're just sitting on the boat and it's just like the kind of monotone.
Like it's like they used to, I think, have like I don't know if it was Universal maybe, but it's like people like doing their jobs. Like at Hershey Park, they have a ride where you like see how the chocolate's made and you can like watch the people like doing their job.
Yeah,
And that's what like if Heidi, your idea, I feel like if you just had people like actually like pruning the plants, taking care of the plants, and it was like a walking tour where you could just like see people doing the parts
yeah.
like start to finish of how they like grow this food for like what you're eating upstairs or whatever, I feel like would be way more successful.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
apologies.
Yeah.
Mine is another classic one, and this one is on both coasts. I think both of them stink. I think it's a Small World. I think it is so clearly one of the ones that has only been kept around because it has that World's Fair tie. It is one of the originals. I think if it had been developed, I don't know, like after the opening of Walt Disney World, I think they would have gotten rid of it already and they would have rethemed it. The song, might have been catchy at one point. I think it's like pretty annoying. I think the ride is way too long. I get there is charm in the Mary Blair aesthetics. It's not totally my jam, so maybe I don't buy all the way in, and that's keeping me at arm's distance a little bit. But I do acknowledge there is some charm there. But I think the ride itself is like the slowest, most boring boat ride thing ever. I think the scenes get so stale so quickly, and then you have that song blaring the whole time. I don't get the legitimate affection for it. I think like it is one of those things where if you're in 1968 or whenever that World's Fair was, you'd go on this and you'd be like, this is cool. This is revolutionary. Like this is such a fun blending of like multicultural themes
with a ton of animatronics.
With a ton of animatronics, and like you have a song tying it all together. I get that it was important at one point in time. I don't think that effect carries through for me today, and I don't have a good time on that ride.
Brandon, you don't have to worry about making anybody mad because that take will take the cake.
I don't care. You can yell at me as long as you're subscribed. Yell at me all you want. I get that, people don't agree.
I think that we have some pretty hot takes in general on this podcast of Disney things that people like. Like we're always like a lot of times leave the past in the past. We want new stuff or whatever.
I think that's why we all get along so well though, because we feel like we know what hits. Like we will play the hits, but if they're stinkers, get them out. Like they had their time here. They'll be like remembered in a museum, and then you just replace it with something new and great, like Guardians.
Yeah, I just like the Blinky Hippo. I'll say that. I think
I love the Blinky Hippo.
But that's fair, Tommy.
It's okay. I'll die on this hill. I'm fully prepared to do so. Nobody
we'll
has
see if
to
we
join
can
me.
drag them onto the West Coasts again.
Yeah,
the one in Disneyland is so unbelievably long. Like it's so much longer than the one in Disney World. It's crazy. It's like a 30-minute experience.
Wow.
Oh wow.
It eats up like a 20th of your day. 5% of your day is gone, and you got nothing to show for it. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one
quickly before people stop listening.
Before
people with pitchforks come.
If you had unlimited money, what Disney resort would you stay at? I don't know if this one is specifically Walt Disney World. That's kind of how I was thinking, but if you have one that I don't know, I don't have a ton of opinions on any of. Yeah, maybe we do one Walt Disney World, one sort of other, but kind of however we want to go with this one.
Mine for me, like I picked a Disney World one, and I guess I could pick a Disneyland one, but I would love to stay at the Polynesian Bungalow. I think that'd be fun. That like are on the water and you're right there. Like I just think that whole vibe is really cool. I love that vibe of like the whole resort, and I think that would be really cool to like say that you stayed there. I also this is not really one I guess that's like maybe unlimited money, but I want to stay at the Contemporary very bad. I feel like I love those like incredible theme rooms. I love the whole vibe there as well. Like I feel like those are mine. I don't know how much like each of them cost. I know that probably the Polynesian Bungalow is probably more expensive.
They don't even list the price online. You have to call.
Yeah, you have to ask. Yeah.
So that would be my biggest one. I would love to stay there. I think that'd be great.
The one that I want to stay at, it's just the one that I don't have a lot of like knowledge about all the resorts. I just like get one that I want in my head, and then I just stick with that one. So we stayed at the one that I really, really wanted before, which is Animal Kingdom Lodge. And now I want to stay at the cabins. Is it Fort Wilderness Lodge?
Fort Wilderness Cabins.
I want to stay there so bad. It looks so
They're
fun.
redoing them, I think.
They redid some of them.
DVC will be there now.
Yeah, but I don't care if I'm in the old stinker one. I don't care if I'm in the new one. It just looks fun.
It's fun.
I like how they have like bunk beds and like it looks like you're just like in Northern Ontario. And I know they're supposed to be like at Disney, but I just think it'd be cool.
But I will say, because I had stayed there one night, you have no cell, like they do something to that area where you got no cell service. People are riding around on golf carts. You got to take a bus to go to eat at Hoop-Dee-Doo. Like it's very interesting and feels like you were not at a Disney resort, which I think is part of the charm to it. So I think it's a good pick, even if it's not like the most expensive and lavish. I think it's a really good pick for you that you'd love to stay there.
Thanks.
My gut reaction when I read this question was Aulani. That is like if I could pick that or like the Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like that resort. They have like those like suite kind of rooms.
Yeah.
And they're super heavily themed. So those were like my gut reaction. Like unlimited money means that I can like travel wherever I'd like.
Yeah.
But at Disney World, I also think I'm not really team like monorail resorts because I think that it's super busy, like because so many people have access to your like drinks and your food and your like everything but I think that again, like I know that we talked a lot about like when we go, but like if we went with like a group and stayed at the bungalows, I think it would just be like the most amazing time. Like I don't even think we would need park tickets. Like I think that would be, so I think the bungalows are my pick for Walt Disney World.
Yeah, bungalow was definitely the first thing that came to mind, and I think that would be great. But I think, the Polynesian in general is a little bit too hustle and bustly. I think if I had unlimited money, I would just extend a stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I think Animal Kingdom Lodge has so much stuff to do, and I just kind of imagine myself staying there for like 10 days, waking up, having breakfast at Boma, having lunch at Sanaa, finishing it with Jiko, like having like just that whole experience. I like everything that's there so much. But when we stayed, we were kind of limited to one night just because of the price constraints there. But if price isn't an option, I'm staying there for 2 weeks straight.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. And they have like the DVC rooms, which are like bigger. Like you can like really like hunker down for a long stay.
Yeah.
We loved it there a lot. It was so great there.
I know, I want to go back there.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Next question. What is each member's dream role / location to work at Walt Disney World?
Well, now I've actually been a cast member and I have worked there, and I worked in theater animation merchandise, which is a very like a DCP / like the cultural exchange program role, just like a baseline frontline cast member. My dream job, I have 2 of them, and I guess this one's maybe like more specific to Disney World, but I would love to be on the Disney Parks social team that go around and make videos and posts and stuff. I really love that kind of thing. And if that was like an option for me to have as a career, I would love that. It'd be so fun. I think if I had to pick a place to work at as a cast member, though, I think that I would really like to do something that maybe is like kind of more of like an elevated thing. I would like to do something like a safari driver, even though I don't think that I would know a lot of things. I think having one of those jobs like would be fun because they're kind of like a higher like responsibility job. But for me, if I could pick any, it would be like the Disney social team, or just in my like industry of advertising and marketing to work for Disney Parks in some kind of way. I think that would be really, really cool. So not a specific frontline cast member, but more in depth on the Disney Parks side, I guess.
Very cool. Do you guys want to go next? One of you?
Sure. I have mine. I have 2 as well. So they're very different. So the one I would love to do, they do like what's it called? I don't know, like the children's games and things like at resorts.
Like child engagement,
exactly. Yeah. Because I think that like you guys were talking about being a camp counselor. If I could make a livable wage being a year-round camp counselor, it's exactly what I want to do. Like I love like planning events, like making things like really themed and like interesting for kids. So that is mine. And I think that like I could see it like getting old quickly because I do think that it's like definitely a tiring job. But I would want to do it like not at one of the bigger resorts because some of that like stresses me out. There's a lot going on. But like if you could just kind of like do like the trivia and the karaoke and the tie-dyeing and all of that, I think would be super fun. And then on the other end of my spectrum, I would love to be a VIP tour guide.
Amazing.
I like love to learn about like all the stuff. Like we just did like the Lilo and Stitch one last week, and like learning those little tidbits of knowledge and then being able to share like cool information because I like hearing the cool information. So like being really good at your job as a VIP tour guide, I feel like is so cool.
You'd be so good at that now that you say it. Seriously.
You would be.
Thanks,
good
guys.
Pick. Good pick.
Nice.
Yeah, mine would be probably a little bit more behind the scenes. And mine's inspired a lot by the Disney Plus show, like Behind the Magic at Animal Kingdom or whatever. But I think working sort of in the safari with those animals would be very cool and rewarding.
Like Jess.
Yeah, like your friend Jess. It's kind of one of those things where once you've sort of worked an office job for a little bit, you start seeing, the grass being greener on the other side. But I do think it would be super rewarding to work with animals, work outside, work with your hands. So not necessarily guest facing, but I think that would be really cool. And you do kind of contribute to, the guest experience in a, an end around like way by supporting the animals in the safari.
That's a good one.
That's cool.
That's a good one for you.
Really good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
I have 2 as well. So mine would be, one of them would be working at the Bippity Boppity Boutique. I think that would be so fun. Whenever I watched like Bronwyn, like during her time, like back there, I was like, that would be like so cool. And I feel like just like you would make so many like little kids like dreams come true at Disney World, which is like
very you. That's
I feel like it'd be so cool. And then the other one is PhotoPass, because I feel like in the same sort of way, like you gotta like really connect with like the guests, and like I love like photography and like taking pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'd be really fun as well.
Good.
And I feel like a good PhotoPass can like make or break.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly, right? Like I appreciate the ones who like go above and beyond and like actually like are like thinking about like, okay, like let me get a good picture for these people, because like some people are relying on that for their trip, right?
Good one. Those are both
Those
very
are
you as well.
good.
I think that
Thanks.
we all, well, hopefully
We all
did a
picked.
good job.
Yeah,
of
I
that.
think everyone did.
Yeah.
Disney,
I
hire
think so
all
too.
of us.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. This one's a little bit different, but I like this question. Do you think Dinosaur and Dino Land is leaving Animal Kingdom?
Unfortunately,
I can go yes. I think 1000%. I think it's gone. I think
I
it's
agree.
dead park walking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
I,
think
don't
it's-
even think it's walking at this point.
Yeah,
It is limping out of the
yeah,
park.
fully
Gone.
out of here.
Which is
Sad.
sad because I think
Yeah,
the
I think
dinosaur is
it's
a great
different.
attraction.
Mhm.
And I love, like, I know that maybe we haven't in the past enjoyed all of what it has to offer the most, but I do love that store when you leave. I love the whole vibe of that. Like the dino games are fun. I think that I'm more so with this question. Like, I think, like you said, it's 1000% leaving. And I don't know if I love the replacement
It's
idea.
so boring.
Mhm.
And I just think that it doesn't really fit. Like I was very team Zootopia because I felt like it was
Mhm.
animals and fit better. And then when this, and again, this, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed. I feel like it is, like, I don't know, but it's like the Encanto Indiana Jones thing. I
Which
feel like
don't
it
go
doesn't,
together.
Doesn't make sense to me whatsoever.
yeah.
Like
and it's
I think even if they had taken Encanto and just taken the whole thing, but I don't even know that you can because all of Encanto takes place
I don't think
like in Casita.
I don't think Encanto works whatsoever.
no.
Yeah,
and
it works better than that and Indiana Jones.
I guess the
The
whole
two of
play that
those
they
don't
said is like
match at all.
Yeah.
the like South American area was what they had kind of named it. And I feel like, again,
That's a
like
stretch.
we had talked about this on our live stream this past weekend, was that like keeping things at Disneyland that are Disneyland, like an Indiana Jones, makes it more special because you then can go there to experience it. And then Disney World had like a dinosaur where it's like the same kind of ride system, but it's still a different
Yeah, it's
attraction.
the exact same ride. It's
Yeah.
just the theming is different, which it's so lazy. Like
Well, yeah.
I think just putting something that you already have done, flopping it in there, and it would be different if like Dinosaur wasn't part of Dino Land and everything wasn't getting redone.
Yeah.
But you're redoing the whole area. You can just close that back part of the park off for a good chunk of time and just actually redo it nicely. Otherwise, Indiana Jones better be open in like 4 months because you already know what you're doing. Like you're just copy and pasting. You're not, it's nothing original. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
But
I think the drag and drop of Indiana Jones over the top of Dinosaur is emblematic of the issues with Dino Land writ large, where there was no real like Countdown to Extinction.
easy
Sorry
for you
about
to
that.
say.
Originally was like interesting and creative, but other than that, Dino Land does not have like that Disney spark. I don't
Mhm.
think. I
It
think
has like county fair.
and the idea is interesting, but it was never executed to its potential. And I think that they failed to like iterate on top of that, and that's why it's now in discussions for being closed. I think Zootopia would be a lot of fun. I think that like the animal theming is there, and you know,
And that
it's,
ride can be like when you
Well, that's-
like are escaping from the the donut. Like there is like
That's how I
things that you
feel.
could do with the existing ride.
yeah.
But-
I think you can
yeah.
use the existing ride in an interesting way, and I just think that you can keep it. The thematic tie-in to Zootopia is a lot easier of a sell than trying to tie in Indiana Jones, which is, you know, not even a popular IP. Like that most recent movie was a total
Yeah.
flub. So you're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna bring it to the parks as well. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No. And I think like I was more mad as a big Zootopia fan because I was excited about that because my only chance now is to go overseas, which hopefully
Well,
will happen at some
You'll
point.
go into the Tree of
I'll
Life.
go. Yeah, which I was gonna say. Now the thing is, you'll get to go into the Tree of Life and see the Zootopia characters, which
is so
is so
weird.
interesting that they're gonna like replace that
And
show
to
with
put such
Zootopia.
a big world, like
Yeah.
where it's in Shanghai.
Mhm.
In
Yeah,
I believe so.
Shanghai, it can be an entire land, and you're gonna take that and think just sticking
Yeah.
it into the Tree of Life is gonna suffice.
Yeah. So I don't know. And again, hopefully maybe at D23 it'll be confirmed this is what we're doing.
Hopefully they'll
And
change
maybe
it.
it'll be in concert.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe we can get our in someone's ear and
Yeah.
we can change the tides.
Yeah, it's just confusing to me, especially because the integration of Pandora is so successful on so many different levels. Like it takes something that's popular. Avatar is like a hugely popular intellectual property,
Yeah.
but it maintains that kind of like living with nature, you know,
Yeah.
respecting animals, stuff like that in both of the primary attractions, especially
sure.
like the marquee attraction. So it just, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that it's, you know, impossible to replicate that with another piece of IP. Like if you want to bring more IP into the parks, I think that's totally fine. I'm not one of the people that has an issue with that. but to kind of abandon, you know, any sort of thematic tie-in to be like, oh, well, we already know that we can just slap some Indiana Jones stuff on top of this track and not have to rebuild it, like feels not great, but
I agree.
And yet to be confirmed. So
like Encanto is a better Epcot fit to me than an Animal Kingdom. And that's just me. But again, we will see if it's like confirmed for sure. Who knows? Yeah. It seems pretty likely that it's going to be A, replace, and B, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I definitely think it's out.
It is absolutely out.
I do think Indiana Jones coming in. Hopefully, maybe we can hold out hope that they won't just plop Casita in the middle of where Chester and Hester's is and then be done.
Exactly. And I was going to say that I saw like online recently that apparently the Indiana Jones idea here will be like the same ride, but they're going to do things different, which like who knows what that really means. So I guess we'll have to just wait and
having the same exact ride but a different story is so silly on West and East Coast.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. Well, this one is
I'm too excited.
A little bit more fun to talk about than the death of my good ride dinosaur.
Yeah.
Your favorite Marvel or Star Wars character?
I love it. I have one for each. I don't know if that, but we can just do one or the other.
Oh, I'm just doing one. I thought you meant one for each of us, or you're choosing for us.
No, I
like when he made us the Country Bears.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think you're answering the question.
We're the Avengers. No, I just I have my Marvel one is easily Iron Man. I love Iron Man. I miss Iron Man in the MCU. He was so great, so funny, and I've always loved him, and I will continue to. I think he's great. There's like a lot of characters that I do love, but he's my favorite. And then for Star Wars, I'm not like the most knowledgeable Star Wars person, but Chewbacca is my favorite. I really resonate with him, and I think that he's a fun character.
Nice. Mine is easy. It's just I'm only doing Marvel. I don't know Star Wars.
Do your Wookiee noise for us.
No, I won't. Mine is Wanda. I love her so much. She is the only thing that brought me into Marvel.
And then they mistakenly did what they did, and we'll see what happens.
It's okay. I still love her, and hopefully she continues to come back. That's all.
I love her too.
She's a good pick for you.
Thank you.
My Marvel is Star-Lord, I think. I really like him. I think he's a funny addition to the crew. I think Guardians is like probably my favorite movies out of those, other than like Endgame and stuff where you get like a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
And then my Star Wars one, I really love Jar Jar Binks because it makes Tommy so mad. But when I was little, like I loved him because he's just like kind of stinks, but he's so funny to me. I like him. And then I like a lot of the characters like out of Mandalorian. So I like Grogu. And then who's the little guy that I like with the big glasses?
With the big glasses.
Oh.
Yeah, Kitra has a little
Babu Frick.
Yeah, I like Babu Frick.
I didn't even know. I don't remember him more.
Yeah, I like Babu Frick.
Babu Frick is good.
Love it.
Yeah, for Marvel, I think I would also go Guardians, and I would go Rocket. I think Rocket's a lot of fun, voiced well by Bradley Cooper, and just kind of adds such an edge to those movies that I think is otherwise not always present. Like a lot of the characters outside of like him and Iron Man are kind of just like flatly like pretty good guys, never really a jerk to anyone. So I think that adds a fun level. And then for Star Wars, I'm probably going to have to go basic boy and just go Darth Vader. I just think Darth Vader is super cool. Like it is like one of those stock answers, but I just think that it's
very 90s
executed executed so well. And yeah, like I was obsessed with the big Darth Vader voice changer helmet that I had back in the day. But yeah, quick note on Jar Jar Binks. I think Jar Jar Binks is very funny because he was aimed to be a character that kids liked, and they largely hated them except for one 8-year-old girl who just was like obsessed with Jar Jar Binks from the beginning. So I think that's very funny.
Jar
Jar Binks,
funny.
#1 fan.
Yeah,
love it.
And I like Kylo Ren, but mainly only because I love Adam Driver. So I don't think I like the character as much as the actor.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, on to our next one. This one is going to be an interesting one, I think. It is, what is your worst experience at a Disney park?
This one was super hard.
Yeah,
it is hard. Tough. Yeah, like I feel like that it's like
I have 3.
This one's so hard, not for me.
You could go so many ways with this though, where it's like a personal.
Mine are personal things,
or just like an experience that's at Disney that you don't like.
Heidi just low key hates every trip to
Yeah.
Disney she's ever taken.
You go
No.
ahead. I want to hear
Okay.
this
Oh,
very
that's so
badly.
funny.
Okay, I have 3. They're not very bad. They're not things that someone did to me maliciously, nothing like that. If you were here for the tea, it's nothing like that. It's just 3 experiences that
That's hilarious.
were the worst for me. So, number 1 was when me and Brandon we got in line for Tron and we had to wait like
Oh yeah.
almost 2 hours. Just self-explanatory. Out in the
That's fair.
sun, the
It was
bacon sun.
horrible.
I don't even really like Tron, so yeah, there was that one. And we were like
Yeah.
debating, should we get on? We didn't.
It was
Anyways.
very warm.
So fair enough, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
But it wasn't like the worst time ever. Like we still had a
No,
good
we had a
time,
great
but
time.
it
It's
was
that
just one.
specific. Yeah.
Another time was when we tried to get like the picture with Mickey in like Magic Kingdom, and like they just like we like come in, we're so excited, we're in our 50th year, Mickey's in his 50th
Mickey's
year.
on our shirts.
We're like,
He's in his
hopefully
outfit.
Mickey will like this. No, like
Well, because it was the photo box.
it was the
and
photo
a
box,
whole
and they kept
mess.
saying stand for the photo box. I'm like, honestly, like I don't even care about the photo box. Like
I'm
I'm
trying to talk to Mickey.
trying to converse with Mickey here.
And she was really rushing us. It
She
was
was
like we
really
couldn't even talk to
rushing.
him. It
And
was
then-
take a picture and get out of here.
So
pretty
then we
much.
were like, okay, that was weird.
And then we went back, and it was way better.
Yeah, it was
There
way better.
Nobody there. It was
So
way better.
it was just a one-off
one-off.
experience. And then my other time was my own fault, but I almost cried about it. Was when I was walking with my nice juice. We've talked about this before. It's my rum blossom.
Yeah.
And I try to leave the park because I am silly and forget that you can't leave the park with an alcoholic beverage. But the cast member like yelled at me like
Very
that I
loud.
was leaving. Yeah, like she like called me out in front of everyone, was like, you can't leave with that. And I was like, I didn't even know. I was like, oh, what? And she's like, you can't leave with that. And I'm like, and then I like clicked and I'm
I
like,
think
oh
she
my
said,
goodness.
"What are you doing? You can't leave
Yeah.
with that." Like it was very kind of like passive aggressive, which like
accusation.
yeah.
yeah, like and she's doing her job.
Yeah,
but
like no
the
hate
wrong
against
way to
her or
go about
anything,
it.
but then
Yeah.
like it just threw me off guard, and then I was just like, oh, I'm just drinking my
You were
juice,
very
which I
sad.
like really love, and then I had to like chug it, and then so it was my own fault, but
Yeah.
it just caught me off guard.
okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
The one with Mickey reminds me of, didn't you guys meet a Rapunzel?
Oh yeah,
That was not very nice either.
It was just we had it. We had all of like you had your "I Have a Dream" shirt, Pascal. It was like we
so
love
many
Rapunzel,
things.
and it was a very short.
It was a brief.
Would you
Let's
like to
get
take
a
a
photo.
portrait? And we
I'm like,
said
yeah.
yes, and then we were on our
Got out
merry
of
way.
there.
And then we met Elena of Avalar, and she was so nice and wanted to talk
She
to
was
us
the
for like
best.
20 minutes, and nobody
yeah.
knew who she was.
That was the
Yeah.
real Elena of Avalon.
It
I'm
was
still
her.
convinced. Yeah.
Seriously,
So, but all
That's
those were
fair.
like,
yeah.
you know, I just thought I would share those.
That's
But
great.
overall, great experiences at Disney.
Yeah,
Mine-
if those are the worst 3 Disney experiences, I
Yeah.
feel like you're on a good track.
I don't think that I have any that are like that. Obviously, I've worked there before and I've been a guest, so I feel like I could go different ways. Mine though is just an experience that it like makes me mad every time that I have to do it, and it's the Guardians pre-show. And I don't like it because I don't like the pre-show. I don't like the people who push and run and shove and move to the door and all the things. And I understand that if you've done it multiple times, that it's like, I want to go to the door, but you're not doing anything faster. I've been in there like when people actually like open the door, like while the pre-show thing is still happening with like Terry Crews and stuff, and they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
opening the door to go down the hallway. It is the most absurd Disney thing that I think that they've done to themselves, because it's
Yeah.
not properly done. That now there's a cast member who stands there and they don't want to be there either. They have to stand there and say, hold it and stop. And it's kind of like a track race. Everybody stands at the line. And when they go, okay, go, then everybody's off to the races. And I just think it is so bad that I don't like being in there. I've been almost hit by ECVs before. I've been pushed and shoved and stuff. And then when you have to go through the doors and go like with your party and it gets smaller and smaller, it's just horrendous.
I just can't believe they like set it up like
It
that.
is a very bad experience.
And it makes it worse. Like it's so frustrating when it's like someone's first time and
I
you're like
agree.
trying to like bring them and be like, this is the best ride ever, and then
And
it
see the
happens and you're just
story.
like, and then they're like, oh, should I move? And you're like, no, like just stand there.
Yeah.
So now whenever I go, I make it a point to just stand where
Me
I
too.
am
I
and
stand
be
right where
like
I am.
watching the show and like into it. But they almost should have made like many different entrances and you don't know which one you have to like go through, and then like each time it's like different or something, or they should have
don't
just
know.
never, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's tough because I don't know how you would get around it with it having to open that way. Like, obviously, if people are gonna go on multiple times, like it's just.
It is,
But
what
it does
I
make
don't
it
know.
like ruins the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
It's just unfortunate that it's like it has to be that way, that people push and shove to try to get, like, I think opening the door before the pre-show's over,
You should be ejected from the park.
That is crazy to me.
You
And
should
it's
be
happened
done.
multiple times when I was there.
You should be done. Like,
Wild.
you no longer get to go in because it's off limits until we tell you that it's on limits.
Straight to jail.
Craziness.
Seriously, it's so bad.
So that's mine. Not specific to me, but just an experience I don't like.
Yeah, I have. Well, I had a really hard time coming up with any, and then I thought of like a big one. But in the process of thinking of the big one, I came up with a couple more. And some of them are just like, it is funny because the worst experience at Disney is like it's like a fine experience everywhere else.
Yeah.
So the one was we were in Connections.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Creation Shop. And there was a man who's like barking at other people.
Like directing traffic. Yeah.
But like not nicely,
No,
not like
helpful.
being helpful.
Not helpful. Not
like
helpful.
telling people where to go and like yelling. Oh, he was whistling. He was doing this horrible whistle across the whole shop. And like the cast members can't say anything. So I said, "Sir, please stop whistling at those people. You don't know them." And then he like yelled at me and like called me mean names like all the way across the shop. But I felt so bad because I know these cast members are like, gosh, I really wish that I could tell this man like he can't talk to people like that, but they can't. And so I spoke up for them. And then, yeah, he was yelling like expletives at me across the store.
Yeah, he was
Wild.
Yeah, he was a wackadoodle. And then the next one, I was standing to watch the parade on Main Street. And I always stand like right next to the trash can near the hub so that I only ever have people on one side of me.
Yeah.
Because it just like guarantees you have kind of like space.
Some personal space, yeah.
And so there was a man who just kept getting he was like standing in my lap at this point. Like he just kept getting, and there was no one to his left. So he just kept getting closer and closer and closer to me. And I was like vlogging at the time. So I have this on camera and I was like, "Sir, you are very close to me." He still didn't say anything. And like, I had to move because this like grown, like probably 40-year-old man was essentially like standing inside of my insoles, like just like cuddled into my like lap. But the real worst experience, and this was self-inflicted. So we ran, but so we ran a Run Disney race. And Tommy trains for the Run Disney races every time. I don't,
right?
Which is not wise. And so we were running like a challenge. So it's a 5K, a 10K, and then it ends with a 10-miler. And I had run maybe 2 miles for like the whole like 6 months leading up to this. And so I also bought new shoes. I bought new inserts like at the Disney, like Run Disney Expo, and then tried to run in them. And so we start the 10-miler and I'm like holding back tears from mile 1. And so we get up, we run like the boardwalk loop, and then we get up to outside of Hollywood Studios. My entire shin was totally numb. Like I thought I was going to like lose a limb that day. And so I'm sobbing. But I'm so embarrassed that I don't want to stop. So I'm sobbing. And then the cast member has to come and she's telling me like, well, the van to like come get you for the non-finishers comes in like 20 minutes. And so I couldn't do it. So I like put my shoe back on because I refused to get picked up. So the whole time, and like, I don't know if you know anything about Run Disney, but they have PhotoPass in these green tents. And they like take pictures of everyone and like your bib number is associated with it. So the whole time it's just me with a bright red nose from sobbing and then tears in my eyes, but trying to like smile through it so I don't look just like the most horrible person in all of these. But I finished the run, but it was like the most brutal thing I've ever done.
That is,
yeah, it was a challenge for sure. Put the challenge in a 19.3 challenge.
Yeah. It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't have one that severe, I don't think. I was going to say, like, when I was a little kid once, I was, like, incredibly ill at Epcot one time. But I don't really remember that, so that doesn't really count. I think one that comes to mind is one we actually talked about 3 podcasts ago. But it was, we were at Hollywood Studios. I don't know if it was when we were living down there, so it might have been like in the summer and extra hot. But either way, it was a really hot day. I'm usually okay with the heat, but this day we really weren't feeling it. Just trying to escape. and we went into the Mickey Mouse Goes on Vacation shorts in like one of the theaters. Like I think it's adjacent to the Hyperion. I can't remember exactly the name.
Yeah.
Thinking that it was going to be, you know, like a classic Disney sort of theater stage show where you just get to sit down for a little bit, enjoy some air conditioning. You know, you're in and out in like 15 minutes, and then you can kind of get back to business. And it was like the dampest, hottest, sweatiest, like kind of like stinkiest room in all of Walt Disney World. And like once you're in there, you're kind of trapped as well. So it's not even like we could kind of just like funnel right through and then find somewhere else. So we were stuck there for the duration of the short. The short is nothing to write home about, so it wasn't even like a good distraction. But yeah, that was like the one time where I really remember the heat getting to me, and our attempt to escape the heat totally backfired.
Yeah.
But
all of these things said, there is way worse that can
way
happen.
worse problems.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that we've been pretty good with
Yeah.
experiences. We haven't had anything crazy.
No, for sure.
But when your morale manager is down and out, you know
Yeah,
you're down
that's how you know
bad.
things are bad. Yeah, it
Yeah.
takes a lot to get me down and out, but I was definitely feeling it that day. All right, so we touched on the worst experiences at a Disney park. Let's change pace a little bit and go with our best memory at Disney.
So this is a good one. I feel like
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, like a sentimental. You could go that way. You could go funny. I have two of them. Unfortunately, yeah, sorry that it's always two. But the first one is us like getting engaged. I loved that whole moment. And I also just love that whole trip where it was like you guys were there. We got to do like a lot of cool special things. I love that moment. We got to stay there like at Animal Kingdom Lodge. It was like a surprise. I just think that whole trip was like such a highlight moment where it was just all of these amazing things with amazing people. And we just got to kind of like take our relationship to like another level, like, and all those things I think was awesome. And I really loved that trip. And then my other one for me is obviously getting my Disney name tag and becoming a cast member is like a Disney memory, not specifically to like going to the park and being like a guest. But for me, that is just something that I've wanted for a long time. And like, then for it to actually come true, and then you see like your name on a name tag and you go to work every day. And it's like, I'm like at Disney World working and hopefully making magic for people is like a really cool thing. So those are my two best memories.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mine's also the getting engaged, especially because it was like our anniversary as well.
Yeah.
Like the day that happened. So like it was like kind of like already good vibes going into it, you know?
Yep.
And then also there was like the surprise at like staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is like something that I wanted to do for so long. And then yeah, it was so fun. Haley and Tommy came. Like Brandon said, we hung out with so many like amazing people and like got to do so many fun things. So that trip as a whole was just great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're on similar vibes over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
We talked about it briefly earlier, and so I think ours might be the same, but they're from both ends of the spectrum there. So ours is, for me, when we got engaged, and like obviously the moment of getting engaged was great, and like we called all of our people, which was super fun.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
But that evening was like the most fun night that I've had like in Disney World. So there was an Epcot festival going on, and then we had a late night like Oga's Cantina reservation. So we like rode the high for so long of like the fun of getting engaged, and we have like a ton of pictures of us just like goofing around with like a big my ring out in front of our faces from that night. So I think that for me, and we were staying at like the world's worst motel.
Yeah,
like we've stayed at like probably the grossest place we've stayed other than this one Airbnb like in Orlando one time. So it's not like we were like going back to like this like fine dining like
Ritzy
fun.
hotel,
Yeah, we went back, got changed, and then went back out to the parks. But the vibes were just like so high, and I feel like it was like I was literally felt like I was like on like a cloud the whole time.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a chilly day in Florida as well. It was overcast most of the day, so it was cold at night. So we didn't really have to fight with the weather at all. Didn't have to deal with being all sweaty. Got to like bundle up a little bit. And yeah, that walk to Oga's, kind of when people were funneling out, we were walking back to Oga's, was really
It was
great.
like the last reservation of the night.
And then being walked out at night. And it was really just the two of us because the cast members are good about like kind of giving you space and just like making sure you're not messing around in the park after hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really great. Like whole park to ourselves kind of feeling, and just capping off a really great day. I had a second one. Obviously, it is nowhere near as fond a memory as getting engaged. But when we got our annual pass, when we got like the physical card for the first time, it was really cool. And in the moment, I probably wasn't as like jazzed. I thought it was like it was like, cool, fine, exciting. Yeah. But like looking back, it started kind of like 2 years of being able to go to the parks really regularly. And it's something we're still literally paying for, but there were so many great memories at those parks over the course of those 2 years. And that was kind of the start of it all. And it was a really, really exciting period of our lives,
And
for sure.
Even though you didn't acknowledge it was going to be that fun, I made us do a whole photo shoot with PhotoPass with our annual passes.
Yeah,
So
holding the
I
little
guess you're glad that we did that
like
now.
that. Yeah, it's immortalized forever. But those are all really, really good.
Love it.
All right, down to our last three. The next one is, what is one thing on your Disney bucket list?
I got two things.
Okay.
My first one is like a very grand scale thing, and the other one is very small scale. The grand one is obviously going to every Disney park, is like, I'm sure every Disney person's biggest maybe bucket list dream potentially. So obviously, hopefully one day that could happen, that we could go. I would say that on my list was going to Disneyland. We'll touch on that later. But my small scale thing is I very badly want to be chosen as that guy on Laugh Floor, where they keep joking and going, oh no, it's that guy. And then it's just like some guy every time. I would love to be chosen that. I wanted to be chosen as the rebel spy on Star Tours, and that's happened to me before. So now I just got to become that guy on Laugh Floor, and I'll feel happy. Those are my two things.
Nice. That's awesome. Do one of you guys want to go?
I don't know mine yet.
I can go. Yeah, mine is kind of like a smaller scale version of one of Brandon's. I specifically would like to go to Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland Sea.
Nice.
Just like a really cool sort of departure from the American parks. There, it's similar but different. It's kind of a way where you recognize everything that's there, but it's presented in such a different way. I think would be a really cool experience, and I feel like whenever people go there for the first time, they're like blown away, which is exciting, because even I think Tokyo Disney Sea, like the videos don't do it justice necessarily, because sometimes I look at it, I'm like, I don't know if this looks that cool. But I know like sort of in the back of my mind that like, oh, you're gonna go and it's gonna be awesome. So that's probably one where if I kind of had to choose one thing, that would be it.
Good pick.
Nice.
Oh, you only have one?
Yeah, I just have the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heidi, do you want to go?
Sure, I'll go next. This is on my list, something that I really wanted to do. It's go to Aulani.
Yeah.
I really want to go to Hawaii in general, but Aulani's also there. So it's like the perfect place that one day I dream of going there, and I dream of going to Aulani, and I dream of going surfing in Hawaii, because I just feel like I just love the ocean so much, and I love like island vibes, and I would just love it there. So I hope that we can go there one day.
I would say probably pretty likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is the same as everyone else's. Like, I obviously want to experience every Disney park.
Yeah.
My more realistic one is Aulani. I think that will be like the next big one that we can kind of get to.
Yeah.
I would love Tokyo is my big one. That's the
Me
one that
too.
I want to be at. And then another one that is like a smaller scale and probably more attainable is I want to stay at like different places at Disney World.
Nice.
I feel like we tend to go back to the same things over and over again. But I think like, and we stayed at, what's it called? What's the moderate we stayed at?
Coronado Springs.
Yeah. But I would like to stay in like Grand Destino Towers, because I really liked staying, and we stayed at like kind of like the motel version of the hotel of that. So just like experiencing more things at Disney that aren't in the parks. So I think like a couple different places to stay on my list.
That was one I actually thought about, because we stayed at Coronado Springs, and then we also stayed at Port Orleans Riverside with my parents, and experiencing those two was like really cool, because it is so different. And the resorts, unless you kind of go out with the express purpose of like resort hopping, I feel like it's like whole like swaths of Disney property that you would just never see otherwise, and obviously a ton of attention to detail went into that as well.
For sure.
So those are all good ones. Hopefully we'll check them all off.
Seriously, I think for sure.
Penultimate question, and this is one that we've kind of already talked about and answered a little bit, but will you guys be headed to D23? Short answer, yeah.
Yeah,
we will.
We are.
Yeah, I feel like this has been, which is so funny, the biggest ever tease, but the biggest ever we're going.
I don't even know that it's a tease at this point.
I feel like we haven't, because I feel like on our end, it's like we always every trip make like an announcement video, and we obviously haven't done that yet. So it's like, I think it's like, are they going? But like, we are all going, and this is
worst kept secret on the internet.
Yeah. We haven't dropped like the length of the trip or like where we're staying, but we'll be there.
Yeah. And I think this has been something which has been in the works literally maybe since like the last expo. We're like, this would be fun. And then obviously like, yeah, like you have to wait for 2 years. And then I think, like you said, Haley, like when the time had come to like, are we doing this? And I think that we all kind of,
well, no, because we were like, we're doing this. And then we were like,
but
we're doing this. Are you guys doing
I know
this?
that they're going to want to do it, but we just haven't said the actual, like, are we doing this? Yes, we're doing it. We hadn't had that actual
no, because we didn't know if it was like serious or not.
And then it was like, oh yeah, we're serious. And you guys were like, oh yeah.
Like, are you serious? We're serious. We're serious. Are you serious?
And then now it's become this like thing. And tomorrow, if you're watching this on Monday, the 25th, or sorry, last week, like that just passed,
last week
was when tickets went on sale, which is so fun. So like everything's kind of happening at a quicker pace now than ever before, because it's like it's almost that time, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like we just got the star in Mario. We're running real quick, exactly, until we have everything booked.
Seriously, but it's just going to be so fun. And I'm excited because I was supposed to go back in 2019. Maybe they had one, right? 2019. No. Yeah. 20 or 2020 or whatever, because it's every 2 years, or maybe it was before.
That was the COVID year.
Yeah. So maybe that's why. So like I was supposed to go and then we didn't go. And I've always wanted to go. I feel like, and not only just for like all of the big panels, but just to see how high the vibe is there. I feel like it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm excited to experience it. Like we've experienced Disneyland, but I feel like it's going to be super different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think conventions in general are a really unique experience. And it's something that I am definitely like foreign to. Like obviously we're really into theme
we've
parks
never been to a con.
Super well experienced, but this is like a whole kind of different world that we're breaking into.
Yeah.
But kind of considering, the interests that we have, it seems like something that we're gonna, potentially catch the convention bug, and then we'll be booked at the D23 every 2 years or whatever it is. But yeah, I'm definitely really excited, and I think it'll be a really unique new experience, and hopefully this year's a big one, and we get treated with some big announcements and stuff to talk about and stuff like that. So,
and I think that kind of was like another kind of kick in the pants for getting this podcast started, is that we knew we wanted to have we knew we were going to go, and we wanted to have something established, because I feel like sometimes it's hard to find things about D23. Like if you're really, really interested, like hearing things that aren't just like the reverb of news, like it's not just regurgitation of exactly like some article somebody read.
A real experience.
But getting to like kind of almost in real time, give our feedback of what we thought and our opinions on things and what seemed like definites and stuff like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely make sure that you subscribe and follow along, because come August, we will be putting out some definite D23 news. When we get it, you'll get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to that and being able to share our thoughts on all of the hopefully exciting news that will come across.
Yeah, agree.
All right. Last but not least, and this is kind of tied into the last one, since we will be going to D23, which is in Anaheim. What are you most excited about at Disneyland?
I know mine.
Yeah, go.
No, are you sure? Because mine is less of like an experience.
Go ahead. Hey.
So mine is just being there with like our squad. Like we've done Disney World so many times, and like Tommy and I have done Disneyland, and it's my favorite park.
It's vibey. It's super vibey.
It it's so different, but the same as Disney World. And so I think that and it sounds like such like a mom answer, but I'm excited to see everybody else see it and experience it together. Cause I do think it'll be, obviously it's the same place, but I think it'll be super different having the four of us being able to really like Heidi said, we're yes men when we go places. We'll just do everything and get to experience so much together. And so that's the part I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, like built into my answer, because I'm the person, I feel like, because I have had these experiences with you when it was kind of not your first time, but your first time in a while back in 2019, going and getting to see Heidi experience all of these new things. And then this past year, when my mom and sister came to visit me, they got to do Guardians and all of Star Wars, Avatar, all those things for the first time. I love to see people experience new things and to be there for that. But this will be now me experiencing things for the first time, which I think is rare when you go to Disney World because everything is kind of the same, and obviously like new things happen, but like it hasn't happened for quite a while that there's like a new attraction or like a new thing. So yeah, like I feel like for me, I'm just excited to see everything new and be able to like experience that, but also like you said, collectively experience it together. I think is going to be like just the most special thing ever.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm just going to be echoing everyone else's answers. And then the thing that I have to add though for myself is I feel like I know like nothing. Like I'm very much like people just take me along and I just am there. Like I don't plan stuff. I just show up. And so I don't even know like what rides are at Disneyland.
Yeah,
I refuse
search,
I refuse to watch vlog. Like when I watch vlogs, I skip through like any ride through. So like I have no idea what it's going to be like. So I feel like it's just going to be so new and fresh that it's just going to be so fun. And it's like going to be,
it could make me
it'll
cry.
just be so fun.
Seriously. I think it's so cool, and it's like where everything started, and just like you said, I feel like from what I get from pictures and videos, it seems so vibey, and it's like a vibe that I'm gonna just love. Like I'm gonna want to go there all the time.
It's way cash.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because mine is kind of, obviously I'm very excited to sort of experience it again, but with people who are doing it for the first time. That is always so fun. We did a similar thing with my parents this year, and it is super cool when you kind of like know what you're in for, and you get to like, I don't know, like smirk to each other and be like, oh yeah, they're really gonna like this.
This is how parents have to feel on like Christmas morning.
And then it hits and that'll be great. But I'm also excited just to kind of like crawl around and get like the different foods that we've bookmarked and like hop on rides that have short lines, because the two parks being across like a walkway from each other just really, it cuts out all of the travel time that you have to account for in Walt Disney World. And it's really just all kill or no filler. Like you're getting a snack, you're walking across, you're riding a ride, you're walking back, you're getting another snack, you're seeing a parade, walking across. And it's just like nonstop. And I think that, like we've talked about, our group is so well suited for that, because we're all kind of just in it to make sure everyone is like having fun.
Through.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, like this person wants to do this, so like let's do it. All right, next we're going to do that because this person wants to do that. So I'm just really excited to kind of just be able to mainline all the good stuff that Disneyland has to offer. Really
excited. So much fun.
Cannot wait.
It's gonna be insane.
Enough.
Seriously,
crazy.
I love it. I'm so excited.
All right, well that will do us for our 10th episode, our first Q&A episode. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Hopefully your question was read, but like I said at the top, if your question was not read, we will be getting to it. I don't know if it'll be kind of a Q&A segment to close another episode, or another sort of standalone question and answer episode. If you do have a question that maybe was sparked by this episode or kind of came to mind, definitely please feel free to drop it, on Instagram at the Park Squad Pod, YouTube at the Park Squad Pod, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can find us. Feel free to drop a question and we'll add it to our list, and hopefully we can build out a big roster. And like I said, if you leave us a question, we will answer it.
Subscribed or unsubscribed, but we would like you to be subscribed.
Yeah, we would ideally like you to be subscribed. But like I say, you can find us on all those platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts at the Park Squad Pod. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for listening to our answers this week.
Thanks for the questions.
Bye.
Bye.